Beach day, let's go. So today is 2 days post-race and 19 days out from Calgary 70.3, and today is going to be a really easy day. I'm just going to focus on recovery, so that's going to involve stretching, yoga, foam rolling, drinking plenty of fluids, maybe a green juice, just anything that I can do to help speed up this recovery process and so I can get right back into training and start my build for Calgary 70.3. So the only bad race are the ones that you don't learn from, and I certainly learned something from my race over this past weekend. One of those things being that I need to go about my taper slightly differently so my legs feel more fresh on race day. But the second thing is that this was my third time racing this current bike course, and I actually put out less power than the previous 2 times that I had done the race, but I had rode my fastest bike split out of the 3 this time. So the least power, but the fastest result. And that was done during similar conditions as well. So what does that mean, and what did I learn from that? Well, going into this race, I really made sure that I focused on holding my aero position, because this is a really flat and fast bike course, and if you can hold your aero position and be as aero as possible and comfortable, you have to make sure that you can hold that aero position for 90k or however long your race is. And I tried not to break the aero position as little as possible. So even when I would go to take a drink, I made sure I was in my aero bars. I would just reach down with one hand, bring the water bottle up while I'm holding the aero position, drink, and put it back. And just the fact that I was being aero and efficient throughout that day, I made it a very conscious effort. Even though I was putting out less power, I had a faster time. Another thing I did that was slightly different in years past, I wore the same exact helmet as years past, but this time I pushed it up slightly further on my forehead so that the tail was more flush with my back. And essentially when you ride your bike, you want to be nice and tight, less spaces for air to get in, because more spaces you have that air can get in, it's going to create some drag and slow you down. So when I was holding my aero position, I tried to make sure that the tail was as flush to my back as possible. And I honestly have no idea how many seconds that saved me or minutes, but I'm assuming, but more than likely it did help to save me some time. So that's a little tip that you can take into your next triathlon or your next bike fit or your next aero helmet purchase. So that's it for today's video. I'm gonna get back to my day of recovery and planning out the next few weeks so that I'm ready to go for Calgary 70.3. If you take anything away from this video, just remember in training and racing to really focus on being efficient, being aerodynamic. You can probably more than likely improve your next time trial in your next race immediately, just like that, by simply not breaking your aero position, focusing on holding it longer or as long as you can, comfortably of course, because that just worked for me a couple of days ago. Because power-wise, I put out the least amount of power I ever have at Great White North, but I was actually faster than ever. Conditions being the same, it just came down to my aerodynamics and being efficient, which is really cool because I've never been able to compare like that before. So, like always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related.